Dear friends, welcome back. We are here to discuss a roundup of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Australia visit. Joining us today are Amit, Sarwal, and Jay Bharadwaj, editors of the Australia Today, who have been on the ground and giving you up-to-date report on what's been happening. So let's start. Jay, can you give us a sense of how this trip went and just a general roundup of the trip to begin with?
Sure, Pallavi. I'll try to borrow as many words from uh, India's Foreign Secretary Vinay Quadria. He summed it up very well. Last 3 days has been of friendship, of trust building, and of concrete action towards growth and prosperity of people of Australia and India. So, how do we say this sentence, describe this sentence? Let's work it out. First, Prime Minister Modi tried to engage with the biggest name in business and community in Australia, be it from film and culture, be it from agriculture sector, be it from resource sector, be it from biggest of biggest name in financial sector. Prime Minister Modi engaged with them, and it was not that Indian Prime Minister Modi was trying to woo all these companies and people. It was other way around this time. These companies were trying to request Prime Minister Modi for certain things to be expedited so that they can increase their engagement with India. That means they want to scale their business multifold with India and with Indians. This was the aspect of the first half of the Prime Minister Modi's meeting visit on 23rd. I can also say that he came from a different euphoria in PNG, where he was given the highest civilian order of PNG as well as Fiji. Amit will also explain about Fiji thing. I'll leave it there. So he came up from that high on 22nd night, and 23rd May started with these kind of engagements. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I think every eye in Australia and in India and globally, a number of people was watching what's going on in Kudos Bank Arena in Sydney. What happened there? We saw the extravaganza. We understood that how Prime Minister Albanese is also on the pathway of what President Biden was saying. Biden said that Modi is one of the most popular leader. Here, Prime Minister Albanese says, "Look behind me. That is the boss." When he said those words, the stadium erupted. There were cheers of Modi, Modi, Modi. So I will also say at the same time, it was not only for that person per se, it was about India's story. It was everything about India, Indians, and how Australia can engage in a very meaningful way with India and Indian companies, and India can engage with Australia and Australian companies. One of the beautiful part of Prime Minister Modi's speech was that he, Pallavi, kind of didn't forget ex-Prime Minister Scott Morrison, who was instrument of making ACTA reality. He was the person behind, or the force behind, last 1.5 years before this government change came. He was the person who made all these engagements with India possible, and he had took personal interest in that. And Prime Minister Modi, rightly so, thanked his friend Scott Morrison. Now let's move forward. We have a new government for last 1 year, Labour government. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese is at helm. So be it. Anthony Albanese is particularly knowing how to deal with Indian Australian community and Prime Minister Modi per se, the Indian government. So he didn't leave that hand that shake, that hug, everything was so symbolizing that yes, this is the place, this is the warmth which we want to continue in future. Whole
Yes.
today, let's come back to 24th of May. There were a number of engagements, guard of honor at governor's house, a bilateral statement, then very important mobility and migration agreement has been done. It is very important. Migration part, Amit Sarwal will explain you how it happens and what are the implications. Second important thing was task force for hydrogen fuel. You know, this is key. In next 10 years, I think it will be bigger export than coal. That's what the predictions are by the experts. After that, he had two meetings for business leaders. After that, now Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Anthony Albanese are having dinner with the biggest names of Australia in business, culture, and community. That's the sum of what has happened in 3 days. But more than that, if Pallavi, you could play that video, more than that, tonight is the night where it is showcased that India has arrived and Indian Australians are a force, are people to be reckoned with in Australia. And this video will be probably one of the best things you can have in last 1 year or so. After Diwali, probably the best thing I would say.
Yes, yeah,
Pallavi,
I
if
was
you
just
could play
waiting
that
to
video.
play it. We'll just play it for audiences. Just a second.
Yeah. Believe me,
So that
Amit,
was
goosebumps.
Yes.
absolutely, I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal to see
Def-
the iconic Sydney Harbour Bridge lit up in the Indian tricolour. I mean, this is,
use- yeah.
you know, in as far as symbolism goes, this is as good as it can get,
Now,
one could say. Now, let
I,
me
now
just, Amit,
Pallavi,
yeah,
just to interrupt you, you used a very nice word, symbolism. Usually, Harbour Bridge, Opera House, or such iconic buildings in Australia are lit when something happens in other country to show solidarity, to celebrate India's special Independence Day, which is the 75th Independence Day, or to celebrate, something in Ukraine, Japan. Out of the blue, you are celebrating India for being India. That's the message that we want to celebrate India uh, as India. We have no special occasion. Yes, special occasion is Modi is visiting, but Jaishankar has come earlier. Modi will come again. But this is to show solidarity to India and to say that yes, you are worth it, right? So we
can't
can
agree
make it.
more, Amit. Very well said.
yeah.
Yeah, Pallavi,
And
go ahead.
I'll just, there was one thing that I wanted to ask both of you, and something that, we have played as breaking news as well, and we have been covering this issue. There was some issue about, so the foreign secretary mentioned something about, disruptive elements. So, you were there at the press conference. Do you want to say something about that?
See, Pallavi, I asked this question of Khalistan menace happening all around Australia. We asked the question about Hindu temples vandalism. Uh, it was in the bilateral statement, Prime Minister Modi specifically. Amit, can you mute yourself, please? Yeah, in the bilateral statement, Prime Minister Modi said that they have raised the issue of Hindu temples vandalism with Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, and he has been assured of a decisive action. He has been assured that no other elements will be able to uh, soothe the disharmony among the community, and they will take strictest action against all these Khalistani goons, Khalistani extremists who have been working around in Australia. And one more thing, very important thing, which when I was talking to the security agency officials, they were reluctant to give name, but they told us very important point, Pallavi, that Sikh, they are now ready to crack down on Sikh for justice in Australia. This is kind of breaking. I'm telling this as I have been told by security agency officials, not only Indian, but Australian, that they are going to crack down on Sikh for justice group. It will be kind of their registration in Victoria will be tested, and some in let's see what happens in next 1 month or so. There is a crackdown coming on that kind of elements. They will not allow it, and we are told that it has happened after Australian government, Australian authority, Australian security agency understood that it's not about India anymore. It is about their own country. It's about the safety, security of their own people, that they can't let these extremist elements run amok in their cities, attack Hindu temples, create those vandal attacks, graffiti, or write whatever they like, threaten Hindu people. This cannot go on anymore. That's the point. I think Foreign Secretary Vinay Katwaya made in his sophisticated way of explaining things. Pallavi?
Yeah. And Amit, I would like to get back now and speak a bit about the Indian diaspora. You are an expert in this field. Uh, what do you think is going to be the takeaway? I mean, the diaspora is now really large, it's very vibrant, it's very dynamic, it represents all corners of India. How important a role do you think it's going to play, even going forward, in the relationship between the two countries?
Now, Pallavi, Indian diaspora has been in Australia since the 1880s. 1960s is the time when post White Australia policy we saw a boom. Uh, at that point of time, it was considered a boom in the skilled migrants, particularly engineer doctors coming from India, who were skilled, and Australia needed skilled people. By 1975, you had the immigration boom coming in when early students start pouring in, but it's the 1990s and the early 2000s when you actually see the skilled migrants, particularly the IT people, and you have your students, international students, the future permanent residents and citizens of Australia. Today we are almost 750,000 plus. It's a diverse group of people with diverse skill sets. And if you notice Albanese's wordings about mobility and migration, they keep using the word skill. And now it is, and Modi also uses the word skill a lot. We need skill India, we need skilled India. That's where these two people are on the same page. Australia and India are on the same page, that it's the skilled people of these countries that are going to make the nations great, right? They realize this. So uh, right now, the migration and mobility pact that they are signing, it's not one way. It's not India to Australia. They have very clearly said that we need highly skilled graduates to move easily between India and Australia and India. That means Albanese is now looking forward to Australians working in India. And where are these people going to work? These people are going to work in the uh, technical education, vocational education industries. Australia has highly skilled teachers who can teach at TAFEs and technical institutions. Australia has highly skilled graduate programs that can be easily used in Australia and India. So, and India has highly skilled people in the areas of a very key interest, particularly to Australia, which Australian governments, not governments, but kind of industries have been neglecting to invest in, and that's cybersecurity. India has already started working in the area of artificial intelligence and cybersecurity, and therefore the diaspora is going to play a big role The next generation of IT experts that you will see in all corners of Australia are going to be AI and cybersecurity experts of Indian origin. So this is the diaspora success story that you're going to see, and that is where the Albanese government is betting on, and I think they're betting on the right track at the moment. Uh, the third point that I'd like to raise is it's part of the migration, and it's also part of the, Modi raised a very valid point. He says, please don't talk please don't talk about academic A, B, C, D, E's, curry, Commonwealth, cricket, democracy, diplomacy, dosti, education, energy, and something else. A, B, C, D, E's don't work. The only thing that works with India is mutual trust and respect. That's what India gives you. India believes in paraspara diplomacy, mutually reciprocal diplomacy. If you are going to respect Modi, Modi is going to give you a big warm hug. And that's what we saw, Jitat, when Albanese received Modi outside the Kudus Bank Arena. The hug was actually given by Albanese, not
That's
Modi
right.
this time. So he knew. So this is the third very important thing, that India wants to be a level player. We treat PNG and Fiji. Jai raised very important point. Why do these people give Modi the highest civilian award? Why don't they give it to the earlier prime ministers or random, or Albanese or someone else? Albanese, Australia has been giving a lot of aid to the Pacific as well. This India, when we give aid or when we give money to someone, we never say that we have given you $100, we have given you $10,000. We say, let's grow together. That's what Modi has been doing in the last 10 years. His specific aid program is specifically designed to meet the needs of not the politicians, but the common people of the Pacific, and they call Modi their brother. India, family. They say, I was in Fiji for 4 years. I have met Pacific people from the 14 Pacific countries there because I was teaching there at the biggest university. Everyone uh, knew about India. They wanted to go to India. Their medical programs were run by India. Their education trainings is run by India. Their agriculture subsidies are given by India. Their vehicles, the tractors and stuff like that are provided by India. The mechanical know-how is provided by India. The IT know-how is provided by India. So India has somehow become their motherland as well, right? So they can trace this idea that we are a common people. However bad Fiji Indians have been treated, Rambuka said that he wants to apologize, right? And Fiji gave its civilian honor. PNG gave a higher civilian honor because they know that Modi or India never comes back and says, hey, we gave you so much, please vote for us in the United Nations. No, that's not expected at all from these small nations. How we treat small nations, we want the similar way to the bigger nations to treat India as well. If you give us money, we return it threefold in terms of migration, in terms of knowledge, in terms of skills. If you give $100 to ISRO, we will be able to take your satellites free, right? Because you are investing in India. You're not giving away money. This is something that really bothers me when so-called South Asian scholars from UK and USA tweet that why are we giving this so much money to India as aid when they are focusing on rockets and stuff like that. Aid is given for return to US. If you look at the kind of, US is mostly skilled people, our Indian immigration has played so much role that now I won't be surprised at a day when you will have people from Australia, America, US, and I'm not talking just about the second generation of Indian Australians. Everyone would like to go back and work in India for some time to gain know-how. Not the hippie trail. I'm not talking about the hippie trail. The people who just go there for 3 months to see the colorful life and everything. People will go there to absorb knowledge in the industry sectors. They will go like to work there. Pallavi.
Yeah, and before taking final comments from both of you, I will play that clip one more time of the Harbour Bridge because it's simply spectacular and phenomenal visuals. I'll just play it once more.
is just beautiful.
Yeah,
Pallavi,
and
Pallavi, do you have any video of that Modi air flight charter plane? If you do have, that was also one of the phenomenal things which happened
yeah,
in
the
last three
one
days.
from the inside, I think, yes. Let me just think. I think it's there. Just a second. I'll try
And
and play
Dr.
it.
Sarwal
Excited
was
to welcome everyone and celebrate our India and Australia friends. Please place laptops and larger bags in the overhead lockers. Smaller bags may be placed under the seat in front. If you are seated at an overwing exit or row 1 in the business cabin, all cabin baggage needs to be stowed in the overhead lockers. It's now time to switch your phone and any other devices to flight mode.
Did Could you see the clip?
Yes,
Yes,
we
we
could
can
see the clip,
see
and
the clip.
I'll drag in Amit Sarwal here. He was on the flight, so if he could explain us what was the mood, how it all happened, and he was lucky. Also, I'm jealous that he got laddus and doklas and other things to eat. So, tell us, Dr. Sarwal.
Yeah, so Jeff, first of all, let me take this opportunity to thank the organizers. I was able to meet a few, particularly Dr. Sachin Daya, who arrived from Ballarat, and he helped me with the whole thing and the Australia today. So we are very humbled by the generosity shown by the organizers, the airways and the bus and the Qantas people as well. The Qantas crew was fabulous. Usually you don't hear such stories, when you have a large number of people who are celebrating the visit of a dignitary. The people were really great. Whoever was traveling through Modi Airways, and this shows you the level of skilled migrants we have. We were very. I think the people there were very organized, and it was. We have a couple of goosebump movements in the last 2 days. One of the movements was when the captain said, welcome to Modi Airways and thank you for flying Modi Airways. You can feel the sense of pride that people have that, yes, we have achieved that level. The second piece of goosebump was when we were in the Kudos Bank Arena and we had the Indian national anthem that played. 25,000 people singing the national anthem in unison. Particularly the second generation of Indian Australian kids. These were the people who were leading both the Australian anthem and the Indian anthem. So you didn't have two group of people. You didn't invite a first generation recent migrant, please sing the song. As we remember 2014,
That's
they
right.
found someone who's first generation Indian migrant who's a singer and he can sing. He did a fabulous job. But when second generation migrants do the fabulous job with both the anthems, that tells you a story, a different level story about. That was a goosebump moment. The third goosebump moment obviously was the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Jitat, I'd like you to carry on, and particularly from the point where we were inside the thing. I'm at the airport right now. I know I can get as many people who are returning, who came by Modi Airways, but they had different timings, so they have to fly back. Uh, the buses and everything was so well organized throughout the day. I think Peter Dutton or Albanese have also mentioned that, and Modi also congratulated for organizing such a big event. And his advice to diaspora was uh, to say whenever you notice something to the Australian public, to keep enhancing the knowledge about Australia. Do not sit back. He actually picked up the word BYO, but now BYO is usually, we know the slang or the lingo is to bring your own wine. When you are in a restaurant, you can bring your favorite wine. But he used the word BYO to give a totally different meaning. He said, bring your own friend to India. Do not just come alone. At least bring a friend or two. Show them India. Show them where you live. So basically, he's promoting tourism at a very different level. Jitat.
Yeah.
Pallavi, have you got the jalebi video which Dr. Sarwal had?
No, I don't know of any jalebi that Dr. Sarwal had.
Dr. Sarwal was very lucky to go to one of the shops in newly made Little India and eat some jalebis at Jaipur Sweets there in Harris Park. So
Okay.
Dr. Sarwal made it a point that he ate most of them and only gave me few.
Okay, but at least you got to have some. I didn't get any. But when we get back to city, I'll definitely go there and try some jalebis. But just to take final comments from both you and Amit, Jay,
Yeah.
how would you sum up the trip?
I think this time around it was all about. I remember 2014 trip also. Pallavi, you and me covered that.
Yeah.
That time, Modi was trying to introduce India to global audience, including the Australian business and Australian authorities, Australian government. Today, after 9 years, when I stand here, I see that all of Australian business, cultural leaders, and the government leaders, they understand importance of India in their growth story, and they are making a queue like bee, and they want to participate in India growth story. Why they want to do it? Because it will make their own growth story stable. That's what Australia is after, and that's why this engagement has a different meaning altogether. Pallavi?
Amit, your final comments on the trip?
This Pallavi, so I'd like to take it forward from what Jitat said, that India's growth story is also Indian diaspora's growth story around the world, and that's the growth story of the nations where Indian people live. That is the growth story of immigration. People who oppose immigration, uh, they have a lesson to be, to learn here. When we interviewed Peter that time, he said, yeah, what are we going to do about the Hindi schools, and what we should do something about this, and we should do about this. So the whole political landscape, the mindset and the thinking is changing, and this thinking is changing because Jitat used the word right. The word is India growth story. India growth story is the future. The story is based on mutual trust and respect, that what Modi said. So do not go about ABCDs, do not complicate this with theoretical jargon, do not complicate this with your South Asian study circles, do not complicate this with your bogus activism and propagandist media. You should see the story, you should read the facts, figures, you should visit India. And if you are ready to help India, India is ready to help you. That's what about. You help me, I'll help you. Mutual trust, respect the diaspora. I think the key takeaway of Modi visit is that in a few years you will see the beeline increasing. This is not going to be just Australia. This is going to be the story in Germany, France, European countries as well. Pallavi.
Thank you, Amit and Jay, for that roundup and for the excellent and fantastic coverage. You were
Thank you
there in
everyone. This is
Delhi
Irfan
to cover
reporting for
all
the
the
Kamsat
important
Passenger Shuttle train from JK
events that
956.
happened.
Boarding house
And I would just like to say that what a
3753. Very nice.
spectacular
Thank you so much.
thing it was to see the Harbour Bridge being lit up in the Indian Tricolour, and we can all sense the difference in the last decade or so that has happened, and diaspora has also grown. And let's hope that the India Australia partnership goes from strength to strength from here. Thank you, both of us, for joining us today.